Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you so much for coming back to Cobra TV. We're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about, as you see from the title, Boundless and Cyberpunk 2077 and the direction of the YouTube channel and so much more with me today. This is going to be a podcast, guys. Podcast. I don't do enough of these podcasts, but with me today, I've got Semtex UK. Semtex, what's going on, bud?
What's going on, bro?
Not
really
much.
Excited about some of these new titles, really am. It'd be lovely to have a chat about these.
Yes.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to talk about Boundless, and I can't believe it's finally coming to PS4 in September. Just right around the corner. I can't believe it's finally happening. I've been playing it on PC off and on throughout the years, and a little unknown fact that for most people, it used to be called Ort Online, and they changed the name to Boundless. But I want to kind of go over something real quick about the direction of the YouTube channel, and I made a post about this. I don't know how many of you guys get notifications when I make these posts on the community thing, but the post says, I want to go over this real quick. We are going to be in coverage on Cyberpunk 2077, Starfield, Beyond Good and Evil 2, and so much more. When I started Cobra TV, it was to cover games that were in development. Somewhere along the line, though, we fell in love with the game and gave most of our attention to it. I do not regret that, and I mean that, guys. And I would not change it for the world. No Man's Sky will still be uploaded in the same fashion it is today, right now, with the subcast, the Thunderdome, news and updates, and other things concerning No Man's Sky. Nothing will change in that department, but this announcement only means that we are adding more content to the channel in addition to what we already do. I have done this in the past, covering indie games that are whispered somewhere deep on the net, and then I would interview some of those developers of those games, and it was super fun. And I will work my fingers to the bone for all of you and continue speaking until I don't have a voice left. And I just want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen to this or read this on the post here, and thank you all so much for being here. And so let's get to work on some awesome coverage on some awesome games, and segue right into Boundless. Boundless is a game that I was playing a while back, especially when it was called Ort Online. I played it when we were covering the development of No Man's Sky, and I just couldn't get people interested in it back then. A lot of people calling it a Minecraft clone and things like that. And no matter how much I tried to tell people that this game, it's different seeing it on YouTube than it is playing it. Playing it is such a better experience, and I can't explain why or what that is, but you don't get the full experience of what Boundless is when you're just watching it on YouTube. Boundless is super, super cool. It is an exploration game, almost like Minecraft and No Man's Sky and some other games just combined all together for a really cool time. And it's multiplayer as well. You can build these big, gigantic cities in the game. I have come across so many awesome creations inside Boundless that have blown me away, and coming across my first online player was actually a cool moment. And I do have a 3-part series of Boundless on the YouTube channel, and I'll link that down below. And it was a really cool experience. Just a lot of people weren't too excited about it back then, and I hope that it coming to PS4, we can actually see a lot of excitement come around Boundless now. I just showed it to Semtex. Semtex didn't even know about this game. And what was
I have no idea. Yeah, I had absolutely no idea. You've turned it on. I mean, my instant thing is it seems to have taken some of the best stuff from some of the really cool games that I've played. It seems to have the kind of crafting stuff from Ark. It has kind of the freedom and exploration of No Man's Sky. And I think what's really intriguing is that it kind of, the way it's put that all together, it looks just so much fun. It's definitely something that is now sort of like top of my want list in near future of games. I'm really, really excited about this.
Oh, it is super fun, dude. I tell you what, man, being inside the world and looking around, the depth, I think that's what you can't see in the YouTube videos, is the way it looks in the game, where you can look off into the horizon and see something as far away. It looks so amazing. I don't know what it is about it, and the crafting is all really cool. Coming across people who built villages is super awesome. Building these portals into other worlds. So it's essentially, like No Man's Sky. You can go to other planets and things like that, and you could build these portals, and you could literally look through the doorway of the portal and see the other side. And then when you step through it, it's instant. Like there's no loading time, no waiting for it to generate. As soon as you step through the portal, it is instant. You're automatically right there.
Yeah, that sounds. It really does look exciting. Like this is a sort of thing I feel I could really get into and really have a lot of fun with. And it seems as if that it seems to be limitless, kind of what you're able to create. I think you're literally only limited by your imagination, and that is, that for creative people anyway, I think that is like a dream come true.
Yes.
I'm really surprised that I haven't ever seen anything about this before. It doesn't seem to have been in the limelight at all. I do pay attention to the gaming industry and stuff like this because I'm always looking for that kind of new exploration kind of experience because, No Man's Sky does stand alone in that field, really, of like the scale that it has. Yeah. And this looks like it's kind of a parallel to that. So that's like really, really intriguing and super exciting, really. I can't wait to get playing this really now.
Yeah. I mean, I tried a little bit back then to create some buzz around it. I guess it was just too early. It was way too early. No one had heard of Word Online or anything like that. And I know Dan Before Time, who was also covering No Man's Sky back then as well, he has been a huge person who has been playing, I think, even still to this day, if I'm not wrong, still playing Boundless. And he's got a little Boundless community going. So, I mean, I think it just needed this. It just needed to get onto the consoles. It needs to be... that's the thing, I mean, it's sort of like No Man's Sky wasn't virally campaigned. The media wasn't really talking about it a whole lot. And now that I see the retweets and tweets going out like crazy about Boundless, it's starting to get the attention that it deserves. And this is definitely something I will be playing here on Cobra TV right along with you, Semtex.
Absolutely, yeah. I can't wait to get into this. It'd be really nice to sort of explore what the... I mean, it seems like, from what I've seen of the few kind of little videos that I've checked out so far, there seems to be all kinds of differences in like weather and biomes and, I mean, obviously I haven't played it at all, so I don't know what the limitations are like that. But just to genuinely discover and explore those things, to me, that's some of the fun, the best parts of playing games is where you go in the first, couple of weeks where you're sort of seeing all of the new stuff for the first time. That really is, real pure joy and excitement. And I think that that's something that's missing from a lot of games out there, and why a lot of people in the No Man's Sky community are so deeply involved in No Man's Sky as well, because it is, one of those games that stands alone in the fact that you can always find something new, different and unique, and there's not really many titles out there that can do that. And this looks like it ties some of the best stuff of other titles into that as well, kind of like the like mining aspects and the building aspects. It looks really, really unique and interesting.
Right.
I'm super hyped for this. And I
know it's like real boxy and sort of like Minecraft and things like that. But there's just, like I said before, there's something really strange when you're playing it. It feels like it's an actual place. I mean, it's very immersive, and the building is pretty. Everything about the game is pretty straightforward. So you can get in and just start having fun. Just start just having fun and stuff like that. And this is a great game to play with friends. You could even build tribes and things like that. And there is PvP, so. I could see a galactic Boundless Thunderdome sometime in the near future.
That sounds really exciting, yeah. I mean, that's the brilliant thing, I think. Especially, like, that was one of the best things about Next, I thought, was how it brought in kind of the ability to play and experience that with friends. But I don't think No Man's Sky necessarily has the depth of the shared kind of experience that you get in other games. Like Ark, for example, you have you really build a community in the game. You really feel like you're achieving stuff together, whether it be your mates are going out and mining the resources, people are coming back, everyone's having a discussion about how they want the building to be built, and everyone puts in and everyone feels like they've really built something together. And I think that's that looks like what this can really achieve in a really good and fun way.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, this is really exciting.
It is. So September 11th is when it comes out, and that's just right around the corner. And I'm going to be picking it up immediately. And I think the first time I play it, I should share that experience with you guys, and I should definitely share it with Semtex as well. So there'll be a dual stream. Here's what I want: is I want Semtex to stream at the same time as I'm streaming. So because his hard work as well is deserved, and I want to play it with you, buddy. This game is super awesome.
I'm 100% there. Yeah, I'm 100% there. I'm really excited about this. I have been looking for I love No Man's Sky. It's always going to be something that I play and always sort of return to. It's always going to be kind of like, it's always going to feel a little bit like home. But there is a lot to be said for having those new experiences, and Boundless looks like something that's very, very sort of has a very similar vibe to it. And I'm really excited to get in there and really, explore and discover kind of what the limitations are. Can I ask, do you have much control over your character creation?
There is some. It's been about, I would say, 8 months since I've last played it. Okay. But the character creation was very limited back then. But I imagine that's something that they'll work on in the future. Because when I first, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. No, it's okay. When I first started playing Ord Online, when it was called Ord Online, there was hardly nothing to do for your character whatsoever. And then that changed a little bit. It got more options, more things added to it that you were able to do to your character. So I imagine the final product, PS4, that they'll keep adding to that.
Yeah, I mean, it looks as if the lighting is really on point from what I've seen already. It looks incredible when you sort of the camera's panning round. You get those kind of, the God ray kind of effect where the light gets, the light and the shadow. It looks really, really well done, especially for something taking this kind of art style. It really, like the weather. It's so well done. I'm really surprised. I've never heard anything about it before. It's come as a shock to me that I've not seen anything about this.
Right.
It really is.
So when you build something, you put it out on Beacon, and Beacon claims that area as your area, and you could build to your heart's content. You could build anything that you want, underground, multi-layered, underground and above ground, underwater, over top of the water, all kinds of things. I mean, the possibilities are actually endless for what you could do when it comes to building. And when you have a beacon, because you could build even without the beacon, but if you got the beacon set down, no one can destroy your base or add to it. So when you go onto some of these cool structures that you see in the game, you can't destroy the things that are already there. You can't add to them or anything. So that's definitely good. Automatic protection of your creations right off the bat.
Yeah, it's like inbuilt troll protection from other players and stuff.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And you said that you met some other people in game. Was that just a random encounter?
It was a random, yeah.
Someone,
it was random. I think it's the third video that I have. The last video I uploaded of Boundless, and I was just walking around doing stuff, looking for stuff, mining stuff, and I happened to a little blue guy just ran right by me and totally freaked me out. I pulled out my weapon to shoot him, and I went back after I got my head together. I went back and he wasn't there anymore, and I tried to figure out where he went. So I tried to retrace his footsteps and come across a big place, a big palace that he had created, and he had a bunch of refiners and stuff like that going. And I was looking at him from afar. He had no idea I was even around. And then I snuck up right behind him, and we ended up chatting back and forth because there's in-game text chat on the PC side. And we were chatting back and forth, and you could also use your mic as well. But I didn't have the mic at the time. But it was fun, and it was a cool experience, man. Just a random encounter.
I'm probably excited for this. I really am. I can't wait to start playing this with you. Genuinely, like super hyped for this now.
Yeah.
It really seems like a cross between No Man's Sky, Minecraft, Ark, and a little bit of Rust as well, with the kind of exploring and finding other people and things they've built and things like that. That's always really cool to like stumble across someone else's base.
Yeah,
I've always found that like a really fun thing. Yeah,
a little less than 2 weeks and we'll be in here.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Super hype. I'm super hype. Me too. This is really cool.
Let us know down below what you guys think. I know a lot of people are going to be like, I don't like voxel games and things like that. But give it a try. I don't know if this is going to be a full-priced, AAA priced $60 game. I would imagine it'll be a little bit lower. I can't remember what I paid for it on PC, but I bought it when it was like super early stages. So I think it was rather cheap when I bought it.
Okay, so I mean, if it's been in production for a long time, there's a good chance that there might have even been a lot of stuff added to the game that you haven't sort of seen since you played it last as well. So that would be really cool.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. It's been 8 months.
All the new bits and bobs. Yeah.
8 months.
Especially if they're bringing it to a new.
Let's see if we can find. Let's see if we can find a PS4 trailer here. Boundless PS4 trailer. This one was 1 month ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago. Let's go with the one that was about 1 month ago. And kind of take a look at that real quick. Oh yeah, a lot smoother textures, a lot crisper. There's a portal right here that I was talking about.
Yeah, I tell you what, they look really cool, those portals. They really do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, a lot more weather effects, different new biomes. Oh my god, the game has improved so much since I last played it.
I can't wait. I really can't wait. I'm really excited to explore this and to yeah. I've been waiting for the next sort of exploration discovery type thing, and this seems like it fits the bill really well. And I think, you know, when you were saying then about graphics and stuff like that, I think if you've got an imagination, I don't think that necessarily the graphics are always the thing. It's the game mechanics, how you feel when you play the game, kind of gives you the sense of it being a real place more than actually necessarily what you're exactly seeing. And there's lots of games that I've played that haven't been the best graphics ever, but the gameplay mechanics have made it much more fun to play than other games that have looked better. So yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for that.
Wow, they have added so much to this game. Wow, multiplayer has gotten way more advanced than what it was when I was playing.
That's awesome. This is going to be cool. This is going to be a really fun thing.
There are some awe-inspiring, like, all moments, like, where you're just like, oh my gosh, this looks beautiful when you're playing the game. And, like, there's, just like in Minecraft, like, there's, like, these places you can go into underground where it just goes down forever, and then there's, like, lava down there and stuff like that. So...
Lava. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for lava. That's going to be great. Does it damage you? Can you, like, stand on it? Or does it, like, insta-kill you?
Can't remember.
Okay.
September 11th, guys. September 11th. I am excited to finally play this on PS4. I am a PC player too, but I prefer, for some reason or another, I gravitate towards consoles for some reason.
Me too. I think it's just like a lifetime. I mean, like yourself, we had Ataris and PlayStations and Sega Mega Drives and Master Systems and Nintendo, all of that kind of stuff. Like, you know, and then PlayStation came out, and I've been a PlayStation sort of person ever since. You know, Xbox is great. You know, I love the Xbox guys. I think that's awesome. But yeah, I'm much more comfortable with the controller in my hand than I am with the keyboard and the mouse. I won't lie. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, I also think it's because maybe not, because I know that there's some people from my generation that grew up on consoles and now have completely and utterly switched over to PC. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just conditioned.
Personal preference, just personal preference.
Maybe, yeah. Trust me, I'm gonna immediately say that I know the benefits of playing on PC. I'm not gonna sit there and lie that I think the consoles are superior. I just don't even think. I don't know. It's a very weird thing. I do know that, you know, Steam sells games for a lot cheaper. But I don't know. I'm just a console boy, I guess, at the end of the day. Whatever. Whatever. You want to move on to Cyberpunk 2077?
Yeah, by all means. I tell you what, I'm super excited for 2077. This looks incredible. When they released the new trailer the other day,
yeah,
wow, it looks. It's so hard to explain. It is to me, it just makes me feel like it's a Blade Runner universe that you're stepping into.
Oh my gosh, yes, dude.
And that's one of my favorite sci-fi films of all time. So that's just the prospect of being able to kind of get in there. It really looks like they're really pushing the boundaries of what is possible on the current generation of machines that we're using at the moment.
Right.
Like the crowd tech absolutely blew my mind away. I could not believe how realistic the crowds and the being able to move through them and the way the NPCs react to your character.
Yeah.
It really looks like it, you're going to feel like you're in a real place again. And I think that to me, that kind of level of immersion really, really is kind of something that sells games to me. 100%. It looks amazing.
I agree.
Really does.
It looks like a game that I could completely get lost in and not doing the storyline and just walking around the city and just looking at all the various things and just looking at the crowds and following an NPC around to see where the heck they go, what do they do. I used to do that in GTA a lot.
Yeah, that's really cool. But it seems like the level to which that's been done is so beyond what we've seen before in other titles that you could liken it to. I really think this is going to be something that's, really, really at the cutting edge of what they can do, and they make incredible games. CD Projekt Red, they've made The Witcher, and that is across the board. Every industry sort of member out there always points it out as being like an incredible game. So to have the same minds working on something akin to Blade Runner, and with sci-fi, and really like the sort of the dark, gritty kind of feel you get from it. It's a really, I feel like that's a much more realistic kind of take on sci-fi games. Like, I love sci-fi games, but sometimes they make them too clean, too almost sterile, and I think that takes away. Whereas this really makes you feel like, Judge Dredd or RoboCop, that kind of dirty sci-fi future, which really, that really intrigues me. Right. I can't wait for this.
Yeah. The crowd technology kind of reminds me of what the guys over at Star Citizen were talking about with their crowd technology, and it looks like, CD Projekt Red, I believe is what they're called. It looks like they beat them to the punch on that. that is absolutely. Just the crowd technology is, like you said, is one of the big things that stood out to me. And the other thing that stood out to me is how you upgrade. And where V sits down and she goes to the doctor, she sees the doctor, and she sits down in that medical bed, and he rolls over to her, and all of a sudden this thing comes over where you could see what you want installed and pick what you want installed, and the animations go through with him installing those things. What an immersive way to upgrade your character rather than just a menu screen and clicking an option.
Absolutely. Yeah, I tell you what really excites me about that is kind of something they didn't really hit on too heavily, but they did mention it, and the very first trailer for 2077 kind of was focused on it, was that there is sort of consequence to upgrading too much with the cyberpsychosis side of it, and I really think that's going to be something that's really pivotal in the game. I think that you're going to have to. There's going to be a limit to which you can upgrade before it starts being sort of like an actual negative comeback to having those upgrades.
Now explain that a little bit. We were talking off air. We were talking off air. Explain that a little bit.
Well, it seems that the more you get upgraded, the more prone you are to this thing that's called the cyberpsychosis. And the cyberpsychosis is essentially when you have all of these cyborg kind of elements added in, but essentially if you've got too much of it, it sends you crazy, and you're not really in control of yourself, and you just wreak havoc and go out on a mass killing spree, it seems. And it's going to be really interesting to see where the balance is, because you've got your above board doctors that are registered in clean, nice places, and then you've got your back alley kind of like super cheap, buy things off the back of a truck with tech that's been taken out of other people and stuff like that. There's a black market for it, and it's going to be really interesting to see what the balances are there. And it seems very, very in depth with the especially the weapons and everything as well. You've got kind of loads of different slots, and there seems to be like a really, really brilliant way of upgrading everything that makes it really unique to you. It seems like it's going to be unlikely that you're going to talk to other people about the game and having exactly the same experience. Even when it comes to the backstory, you choose the elements of the backstory yourself, and that influences the way the story goes. So the replayability is off the chart.
Right.
You know, you're going to have a different experience with every kind of choice you make.
Yeah.
And it seems that way with all the missions as well. Your actual decisions really have consequences in the game that will lead the game in an entirely different path.
Yeah,
I think that is absolutely brilliant. Yeah,
like the time where she went to go meet with that woman, and they pulled a gun. The guy pulls a gun on her, and one of the options is take the gun. But the narrator who was narrating the gameplay was saying that you are not suited to take on these people. So that is an option. I mean, you could take that gun from him. You could choose that option, and then it's an all-out fight that you're probably going to lose. But there's a chance you could win. So like you said, there's multiple scenarios that you can pick from. It's not just a straight path on the storyline. I mean, you could choose to do things the hard way if that's the kind of gamer you are.
Absolutely, and the depth of that seems really intriguing as well, because there seems to be multiple opportunities for you to do that in the missions as well. So it's not just at the very beginning of the mission you can choose to take one route, and you're not locked into that. It seems as if halfway through the mission you could go into a place kind of saying that you're going to buy the tech off the dude, and they lead you in, and that kind of gets you in the door. But then when you're in there, then you get the choice, like, do you want to proceed and play this carefully and buy the tech, or do you want to grab your gun and start trying to actually taking it by force?
Right.
And that kind of decisions, and that, I think that's going to make for some really, really interesting gameplay, and it's going to really give you that replayability again. If you go in and you've created saves before that, it would be really cool to play that mission through and to take those chances, and then to see what the other kind of options would have been as well, kind of on another playthrough. Yeah, really, really exciting. I think this is going to be like a really big hit. I really do.
I do too, and I love the freedom of the game. It's open world. You can go wherever you want, do whatever you want, and you can get into vehicles, drive the vehicles around. So there's going to be definitely a lot to explore. I can't believe the amount of work that they put into the city that we've seen. And we were there was a financial meeting or something where they were talking about how the game is finished to where you can play it from start to finish, but it's not polished. Well, we've seen the most polished areas of the game so far, but I can't believe the amount of work that was put into the city that we've seen. I mean, just think about how long. It reminds me of what the guys over Beyond Good and Evil 2 were trying to do with their cities, and this just very immersive. I can't wait to play Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah. The other thing that I picked up on as well is that they mentioned the vehicles, and they said you can play in cars, motorbikes, and other vehicles, but they didn't specify about that. But there are the kind of flying cars that we've seen in the video that seem to be quite prevalent. So it'd be really interesting to see, if you're able to use those and kind of what freedoms you'll have with that as well. I mean, if you can upgrade those vehicles, I mean, it seems you can upgrade the vehicles. So if you can upgrade that, and you could essentially create a flying tank to give you another option of how you want to approach the missions in game as well.
Right.
You could go in from the very top floor, and choosing that route it might be a weaker entry point that you can exploit, and that gives you another option again. And it kind of reminds me a bit of Far Cry, like that you can approach the mission from so many different angles. You can either go in all guns blazing, or you can be completely stealth, or you've got all of those options. I think that's really, really intriguing, especially in this environment. I can't think of anything else that's been done in this kind of sci-fi future city with this cyberpunk kind of vibe to it. And yeah, absolutely intriguing, and yeah, super exciting. I really didn't expect it to look as good as it does, to be honest with you. And if they can carry that through to what we actually get on disc, when it comes out, that's going to be mind-blowing.
Yeah,
it really will.
Yeah, and it is. It's a good. The game's going to be all in first person, although you'll get to see third-person shots of your character, like in a cutscene or something like that. They want that for immersion. It's a role-playing game, but they want it. They want you to feel like you're in this city and that you're in this world. They want to immerse you in that environment. But the cars and stuff, the vehicles that you could drive around, they did say that you can drive those, operate those vehicles in either third or first person. So that's pretty cool, because I know a lot of people like to drive and fly and things like that in third person.
Yeah, and the cool mechanic looks really good as well. That's like tied into the jacket you wear. You've got the coolness level. It's kind of like a status level. The more of that you get, the more doors open with different people that you're able to approach and get missions off. And I think that it give you different mission options as well, the more you kind of have that level with all of that stuff as well. So it'd be really intriguing to see how all of that plays out as well.
Right.
I think that would be super interesting. Yeah.
So the character customization, you can pick male or female. There's not a whole lot of bone structure so far, is what they stated. Like, you can't really change too much of your character. You could change like tattoos, piercings, and I think even they said something about history of your character. Like, you could pick a history of like a backstory of your character in the character customization. They said that might have an impact on gameplay and stuff like that. Also, the coat that she grabs is sort of like, I think you just mentioned the coat. It has like street cred to it. So you can.
That's right. Yeah. I think they call it cool in the game. It's the status level of the character, kind of a little bit like. It does remind me a bit of Far Cry in that sense, where you've got the kind of the higher you rank up with sort of a faction, the more things that you can get from them. So it will unlock different weapon vendors, and they'll have different tech than you would have been able to get without kind of getting that status of cool. So yeah, it's really intriguing. It'd be nice to see how all of these things meld together, and the backstory as well. I noticed that it wasn't a choice of like, oh, you've got 3 different backstories that you can choose from. You actually choose parts of the backstory as well. So it looks like you've got, up to 5 or 6 different parts of your backstory, and all of those really do have a impact on the game that you then end up playing.
Right.
And that is like absolutely, I mean, again, if just with that, if you played it through 10 times and you had 10 different backstories, that you could have a completely different experience every time you played the game. Right. And that is amazing, really. I mean, that's real value for, you're getting real value for money with the purchase there, aren't you?
Yeah. And this is a very adult game as well, which I really hope we don't see like things get censored out of this from what we've seen so far. I think the gaming industry needs a lot more adult games to tailor to the adult gaming community, just for just to set yourself in an actual setting that feels believable and feels real. I mean, is nudity okay in gaming? Well, I think it should be okay as long as it really tells the scene for what it really is. And I think they did a really good job at using that to their advantage when she comes across those 2 bodies that were in the bathtub, because I mean, if you think about it, that's probably how you would really find them.
Well, yeah, I think that adds to the gravity of the situation as well.
Yes.
I think, especially for people like, ourselves, we're sort of, older people, we're in our late 30s, early 40s, and a lot of the people that sort of grew up with PlayStation 1 and kind of, Segas and SNESes and all of that kind of stuff, we're all of that age now, and that's like a big portion of the market. And you're absolutely right, there isn't a lot of stuff out there that really caters to that end of gaming. A lot of the stuff coming out seems to be aiming at sort of being able to go for the kind of the teen market, if you see what I mean. I think it'd be lovely to have something that's something that you could feel like you're playing the Blade Runner game, or the being in a RoboCop city, or a Judge Dredd type environment. And there's nothing out there that really does that to this kind of level, and that is as believable as this, I think.
Right.
So that's going to be super, super nice to to actually experience kind of being in that environment in a game that's really forward thinking and kind of with that edge of realism. It's like a lot more believable. Like, I see that being closer to the future we are all going to actually be living in than these kind of sterile environments that we see with some of the other games that have come out in that kind of light. So yeah, absolutely, I think it's going to be brilliant.
So I haven't looked into this aspect at all, and I wonder if you did. Do we know if this is going to be multiplayer or co-op or anything?
I mean, from the little bit of looking around I did, it does say that they want that there is going to be a multiplayer element, but I know that the way they implemented multiplayer in some of the other projects they've done has been very unique. It's not your standard kind of multiplayer, but I really hope they make some kind of co-op experience in this, because I feel that being able to share this kind of environment with a friend, do missions together, if you can team up with your buddy to take on a particularly hard mission in game, if you've got to go and take out some military corp guys and you want backup of actual people rather than NPCs,
right?
I think that they'd be missing a trick not to include that in the game, and they seem to have their finger on the pulse. So I'd be surprised if we didn't see it, to be honest.
I agree. I mean, if they don't have co-op where me and you can run around and do these missions together, I'm gonna be upset because it's perfect for it.
Yeah. It would be perfect. It really would. I can imagine sort of, you get into the game, especially after you get through kind of the main story and stuff, because, those main storylines can only last so long. And for the game to have kind of any longevity, there needs to be a free roam, cooperative kind of aspect where you can go and do co-op missions with your friends online, go and achieve things that you're not going to be able to go and achieve alone. Make those missions too hard for you to go and do that solo, or at least extremely hard for you to complete solo, and make give them a reason to sort of meet up with your mate. I'd love to come flying in my flying car and pick you up and go off and do this crazy mad heist on a military sci-fi corp or something. That would be absolutely insane. It would be it's just it looks amazing, and I'm well excited.
Yeah, you're like, take the wheel, Cobra, I gotta shoot these guys, and I'm sitting there trying to drive, and then I wreck, and then you die, and then we replay the mission.
And then you'll be like, wrong button.
Wrong button. Wrong button.
Absolutely. It's going to be good, though. It really does look super cool. And I can't wait. I mean, we know that there's no sort of official date yet. And I looking at how intense all of this is, I would be surprised if we see this kind of like early next year. I think we're probably not going to be seeing this coming out till maybe September next year, like holiday kind of season. It would be mad for them not to sort of hit around a big kind of holiday, and Christmas is always a good one for games like this, because people can get this game as presents for other people and that kind of thing. And I'd be surprised if we don't see it release around about then. And it gives them the time to really put the development in to really polish this up and make it what it can be, so
Yeah, they said they're in it for the long run too, so it's not just release the game, boom, they're done. I don't know if that means DLC, or I don't know if that means like sequels or things like that. So
I did need to mention as well, with the E3 stuff, there was when they showed it on the Xbox thing, there was like it looked like the stage was being taken over, like kind of by the Atlas or something like that, where it was being hacked. They actually put up messages on the screen, and in those messages they basically had a bit of a poke and made fun of paid for DLC. So it seems as if they're committed for like all of that kind of extra content to be something that you get, included in the price of purchase.
Right.
So it looks like they're going to extend that without you having to actually put more money into the game. And I really, really think
you're talking about that screen with all those letters and things that were on the screen.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Someone also found out that it says Bush did 9/11 in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
That's a bit intense. Yeah. But yeah, it's so cool. Like, and also, I think, did you mention that there was like a kind of an ARG run for this?
I thought so. I'm not entirely sure. There was some muttering on a Reddit page. I don't want to say that yet. But yeah,
something we can definitely look into more, because I definitely want to talk more about this title, because I'm super intrigued. Like, I like to watch the trailer with you and sort of see if there's anything that we've missed that would kind of excite us a bit more.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm already super hyped for it, but you know, it'd be nice to kind of bounce back and forth off of that trailer. 100%.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that would be a long video if we broke down a 48-minute gameplay video. That'd be super long.
Well,
there's so much. There's so much in this gameplay video that we could actually, like, the way that I used to do the 1.5 minute trailers for No Man's Sky, you know, and I would, those videos would end up being 30-40 minute breakdowns just for a 1.5 minutes. But this is there is so much to look at inside this game, inside this gameplay demo.
It really is.
So much. I mean, there's all right, well, yeah, I think they're doing a great job. I can't wait to play this. But yeah, I think we're a long way away for a release, that's for sure. And now that it's on our radar, we're definitely going to keep up with it. And, you know, whenever there's new news, we'll talk about the new news. There's a lot of things I want to talk about, but I don't think they're appropriate at the time of this video where we talk about certain gameplay features and things like that. It's just kind of going over how cool this is. But we'll get into that in some future videos. Was there anything else we want to talk about? I can't.
No, I mean, not when it comes to 2077 right now. I think we're definitely really interested to see anything further they bring out, like any sort of. I would imagine they're probably going to hit us with a couple more trailers in the future, kind of, you know, when the project's advanced a little bit more. So I'm intrigued to see kind of what aspects they will show, because obviously they're not going to show us everything. They literally showed us one mission in the game, and if that's just one mission, then this game has got a lot of content in it. This is going to be huge. It's going to be a really amazing experience. You know, I think you're really going to get a lot of longevity out of this purchase. So get excited, peeps. This should definitely be on your radar. This is going to be good. 100%.
Yeah, I do too. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today for our first podcast covering other games that are in development. This is not going to be the end all be all. We are going to get down to the nitty and gritty and do some deep dives into these trailers, into these games, and you know, try and pull out those little cool nuggets of information and details and features and things like that. We'll probably do that on Cyberpunk 2077 after we learn a little bit more about it. And maybe we'll discuss the gameplay demo trailer, and also next week, or in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, we'll be playing Boundless.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for that.
I can't wait. I really can't wait to get into that. I think that's going to be absolutely brilliant. So yeah, get ready, get those notification bells hit, be there to experience like our journey through Boundless. Is going to be absolutely fantastic. So
most definitely
get on board the hype train. Choo choo.
That's right. Choo choo. All right, guys. As always, I love you. We'll see you all in the next video. Until next time.
Bye.